My parents asked if their grandchildren could visit them for a week.
Here we are.
This is where our mom grew up. I've wanted to spend time with you for so long.
Miss you guys!
So congratulations on the visit.
Thank
Saw
you.
it last night and I loved it.
Good.
This is a first for you. You're teaming up with M. Night Shyamalan, and
Yes.
we're all used to the off-the-wall characters that you have, and you bring some of that humor into the opening scene especially. What was it like coming into this, and how did you adapt to the horror genre?
I don't think I adapted it anyway. I mean, I think I kind of approached it in the same way I would any other gig, through the script and through like this story and through the who am I in it and the relationships and I mean, for sure there were moments that I would step back and think like, I can't believe I get to do this, because I have never, this is a genre I've never been in, but I've been a fan of forever. And I love, like, if I were to like name my favorite movies of all time, like a lot of them would be horror movies, just because I love that feeling that you get watching them. And so, and I also knew that this was going to be, the best horror movies are the ones where like it's like the like gas to the laugh. Like I love that too, where it's like so unbelievable that you start to laugh. And I think that that's in this movie as well. I think it's like it's not only moving and terrifying, but it's also like very funny.
Mom, we're having a great time.
So you play the mom of these two characters,
Yes.
and there's a lot of familiar territory in this movie. They tell you that something's wrong with their grandparents, and most parents usually dismiss their kids' concerns.
Yes.
But you remain involved
Most
and
bad
engaged.
parents.
You remain engaged throughout the week and make sure that they're okay. What was the perspective from her character?
It was my two elderly parents that I have like a really complicated history with, but they're not getting any younger, and I have two kids that are not so little anymore, and they're dying to have a relationship with them. And so it's like, what can I do? I don't want to it's not their fault, and they
Right.
deserve to have a relationship with their grandparents, so I send them to this house.
Mom, there's something wrong with Nana and Papa.
They're just old.
Bear with it for a couple of days.
Nana, you okay?
We all have an experience that we can't explain, so we're usually terrified by them. Do you have any personal experiences growing up with, whether it's family related? For me, I hated my grandpa's attic with the noises and everything about it. Do you have a familiar experience?
Yeah, my family lived in a very old house,
Right.
and it didn't matter how hot it was or the raging thunderstorm outside. They would not turn on air conditioning, and I would have to sleep with like a huge quilt up to my and hold my
course.
pee, because I was
Yeah,
like, I'm not
absolutely.
going.
You
Hold
would.
your water. But I would not go because I was like terrified.
Right.
And they loved a ghost story down there.
Right.
Loved a ghost story. Catholic. Grew up Catholic. A lot of Catholics love
Okay.
ghost stories.
Yep. Same thing.
And I was like, why, you guys? And they're like, good night.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate
Terrifying.
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's make it a perfect night.
So congratulations on the movies, guys. It's a big moment for you. You've gone back to your roots, stripped away Hollywood limitations, and you crafted a brilliant blend of humor and horror.
Thank you so much.
When going into this, what were you hoping to achieve?
Something unique, something original. I feel like I am a little bit off-center. Like that's not who I am. Is not quite, doesn't quite. I don't quite fit in, and that's okay. And if I can tell stories that are just slightly 5% off in their weirdness, I think there's a lot of people that will respond to the authenticity of that it doesn't quite fit anything. And so I tried to make a very original story here, and of course, a wonderful, wonderful ride for audiences in the theater.
And so you teamed with Blumhouse Productions
Yes.
and incorporated the found footage film that made films like Paranormal Activity so successful. How important was it to have that signature Blumhouse filter into this?
We do a lot of found footage movies, like you said, and this movie's a mock documentary, and that may not sound very different, but actually to me, it's polar opposites. Found footage is about randomly catching acts, and it's supposed to be sloppy and messy. And The Visit is shot by a character who's really interested in filmmaking and composition and how the shots look. So to me, this movie actually is very beautiful to look at, whereas our found footage movies are purposely kind of not so pretty to look at. So it's actually two very different feelings, for me anyway.
It's 10:47. We think there's someone outside the door.
You've amassed an arsenal of impressive titles at Blumhouse. It's very Marvel-esque in a way. I think that's been touched on in the past. Did you go into this creating that And with The Visit, it seems like a singular experience, but it also falls within the same universe as well.
I think if I spent any amount of time thinking about that, I wouldn't come into work. I think it's too, it's not conducive to. I really try and feel like we take it day to day, and I really try and find. I focus on low budget. That's one thing I focus on, and as part of low budget, that means unique and original. And I feel like that's what The Visit is to me, exactly what Knight was saying, and that's what we look for. But I don't have a grandmaster plan, or I don't have any release dates in 2018.
Right. And so you guys have created two sets of characters in this movie, children and grandparents. Sometimes it's hard to connect with an audience. What did you guys do to ensure that these characters would relate to the audiences and get the reactions that you would want?
You know, it's fascinating you say that because, you know, again, if you looked at it on paper, you'd say this is the craziest movie ever to make because of the reason that you said. But really, it's what I look for. Why I was drawn to the story is its relatability. We all visit our grandparents. It's like almost like a family tradition. And what if you went to visit your grandparents and something was wrong and something started to go wrong and started to uncover something really dark that was going on? That's the premise, and we all relate to that, and the kind of the oddity of the generations and how we're scared of getting old and seeing the mind deteriorate. All of those things are primal thoughts, and so that's why I felt it was very relatable.
And did you have any personal childhood experiences that terrified you?
I talked to Stephen King about this once. I think I've had a very boring childhood. I think that's why I made up so much. If you really were traumatized, you wouldn't talk about it at all. You'd just be like,
I think that's true.
You'd be like, in a bank somewhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
It's just the end of your trip.
I'm sad it's all over.